Well guys, you convinced me to do it. We're gonna paint our car with the Harbor Freight paint sprayer. They got one in stock, actually got a couple in stock, and they lowered the price to $29.99. They were like $40 previously. They were $20 last year before all this inflation crap. So you guys have been asking for like years now. Can you do this? Well, we're gonna find out.
1 hour later.
Alright, so you guys have it. This is the donor car we're going to be working on. I'm just calling it a donor car because I really don't give a crap about this car. You guys can see this car has got some extensive hail damage. That's why I got it so cheap. After I take the catalytic converter out of the car, I'm only going to have about $1,000 in this car. I said, hey, $1,000 car would be a perfect candidate for a house sprayer paint job. Like I said, these sprayers are only meant to run like Rust-Oleum through them, thick enamel, house paint. This sprayer is not meant for a car. However, a lot of you guys have been asking, because I know you guys at home that you just don't have the money to go out, buy a compressor, buy a $150 to $200 spray gun, get the hoses, get the regulators, get all. Some of you guys just don't have the money for that. Let's say you got an old beater car like this, perfect candidate, $1,000 car. You just want to go up to a good old Harbor Freight, and run and get you a little $10 or $20 or $40 sprayer. Hook you up an extension cord and shoot a car and see will it work. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get cracking on the body work. Then we'll get the paint. Alright, so little trick when you're fixing hail damage, okay? So we got our Bondo. When you're doing hail damage, you don't want to get a super high build with your filler. You know, you're just trying to get enough just to fill that low spot, but then not have too much build up around that, the rest of the dent. Mixing it on a mixing board with it being this thin usually doesn't work out. It just makes a mess everywhere. So you grab you a PPS cup and you mix up about, 30 ounces of filler. So we're doing about a 1-to-1 ratio, so that's 1 part filler, 1 part fiberglass resin. Go ahead and get this, mixed up first. Give it a good mix before we add our hardener. And this is gonna give you that nice consistency that you're looking for. Just enough filler just to fill those dents. Squirt your hardener in there, give it another mix, and you're good to go. And when you're done, just like when you're painting with PPS, throw it away. Easy.
1 week later.
It is the day all of you have been waiting for. We are ready to prime the car. Last step before paint. I have decided to prime the car with the electric sprayer, being if I prime it with a spray gun with air, that defeats the whole purpose of this whole video. The whole purpose was to see, start to finish, can you use one of these to paint a car? That includes the primer. So as you guys can see, we already did all the body work. Trust me, believe me, it is not perfect. It's very wavy. It's not perfect. but hopes that the primer will kind of solve some of that. It'll take out a little bit of the waviness and we'll have a decent paint job. Let's load up the gun. Let's see what this thing will do. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately on primer, guys, and I'm gonna just clear it up for you guys right now. So the SS2790G is without a doubt the best universal primer on the market. You're not gonna find better. You can under reduce it and turn it into a spray on body filler that can fill small dings, scratches, etc., etc. You can over reduce it and turn it into a primer sealer. You can add fast reducer and make it dry quicker like a production primer. You can add slow reducer and make it flow out like a more so restoration style primer. It is without doubt the most user friendly. Pretty much what I use on all my jobs at the body shop. Of course, you guys know when I'm mobile, I use the SMR 220 spray aerosol can, but this is a really hands down awesome primer. Yes, you can spray it over bare metal. I've done it plenty of times. I've never had adhesion issues. I keep getting questions about that. Marco, can you spray the SS2790G primer over bare metal? Yes, you can. I don't know how well this thing's going to do when we get to the paint stage, but I'll tell you, this thing is one heck of a primer gun. It puts on the primer twice as thick as my 2.0 tip primer gun that I use with air. Did get a couple runs, obviously because of how thick it was going down. I used fast reducer to try and eliminate the risk of runs. And this, on the roof on this side, I was having a boatload of issues with the spray gun. It was like squirting out lines. I think the primer was actually too thick for this spray gun. So I mixed in more primer, got it to lay out pretty good when I got to the fender. A couple halos in the primer around the bodywork. That can be kind of normal sometimes. You just let the first coat kind of bite in there, put on a second coat over it, and usually those halos will go away. Gonna let this first coat dry up, and then we're gonna move on to the second coat. Alright, so for the primer step, I am extremely happy with how this gun performed. Even though I got some runs, even though it's got some couple little drippies here and there, that'll all sand out. Now what I'm really nervous about is when we get to the paint stage. I am praying that this thing sprays a little smoother when it gets to the paint stage. You guys know, you guys have called me this many times, I am the Harry Potter of auto body paint. I get that. However, sometimes some things just kind of stretch their limits. My hope is I think maybe if I just like over reduce the paint, it'll kind of just flow out really good, maybe. I don't know. I'm definitely going to use, well, I can't reveal my secrets yet, but anyways. We'll get to that in the next video. But I think, fingers crossed, I think this thing will work out. But in all seriousness, I mean, even for you restoration guys out there, this electric spray gun did a way better job of putting down primer than my air-powered 2.0 tip primer gun. This thing gets down in 2 coats of primer. I got probably the build of 3 or 4 coats of my air-powered automotive spray gun. Keyword automotive. This thing's made for painting houses. I got a better build out of my primer with this gun versus my primer gun. So that is going to wrap it up for this one, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of painting with the Wing Wang sprayer. So catch you guys on part 2. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, new videos every week. Bye.